In this video, I want to discuss the one thing that literally controls ourselves and controls our whole life, decides how we live life, decides the quality of our life. And the reality is, it's really a mathematical equation. It really comes down to basic maths. And that is, however you think is going to create a feeling, and that feeling is going to create a behavior. It's a simple maths equation. And a lot of people will say to me, and I hear this the whole time, when it comes to the world of psychology, some things work for some people and some things don't work for other people. And I hear that to a certain extent, but there's just something that isn't true about that. And that is, if you think a certain way, it's going to make you feel a certain way. And from that feeling, we are going to act. And those behaviors, that output that we put into our lives, is going to create the quality of our life. So let me just give an example. So if I believe that I am not good enough, or I believe that I can't achieve something, that's going to make me feel low mood. It's going to give me a low sense of energy. It's going to make me feel maybe possibly depressed. It's going to make me feel sad. It's going to make me feel down. Now, when I'm feeling that feeling of being down, chances are I'm not going to try very hard to do the thing that I really want to achieve. Or even if I do it, I'm probably not going to put everything into it because I have this core thinking or core belief that says I can't do it or I'm not good enough. So then I'm going to go try and do it, and it's not going to work out, which is then going to reaffirm that original thinking, that original belief that I am not good enough. I kind of call it the snowball effect, right? And I like to explain it as we're in two circles. We live in one of two circles. We're either in I can circle or in the I can't circle. And a lot of people are living this I can't circle. I'm not good enough. I can't achieve it. No one's going to want me. This is never going to work. This is always going to go wrong. All the things that suggest that it's not going to work. So they think that way. So therefore they start feeling that way. And then they act from that feeling. And when you're living in the I can't circle and you're feeling that I can't circle, and you start acting from that I can't circle, you're going to reaffirm it. So what starts off as a very small piece of snow is going to build up momentum until we've got this massive snowball, which seems to have the appearance of having lots of evidence that it's true that I can't. But what it was all based on was an original thinking that said that I can't, which a lot of the times from my experience of working with a lot of people, most of the time it's not based upon the whole truth. So we're either in this I can't circle or in this I can circle. And if we're thinking I can, then we're going to feel motivated, we're going to feel powerful, we're going to feel empowered. And from that place, we're going to go do action. We're going to put output into the world. And that's going to get us a very different result than when we're acting from the I can't circle. So it really is a simple maths. 1 plus 1 always equals 2. 2 plus 2 always equals 4. Unless you're drunk, of course, then it might come to a different answer. But in the real world, when we're sober and we're seeing life for what it really is and we're working with the real true maths, 1 plus 1 always equals 2. It always does. And the same too is with ourselves. The one thing that controls our world is our thinking. If we start thinking, why is my life so terrible? We're going to start finding all the reasons why my life is so terrible, which is going to make me feel disappointed. It's going to make me feel down. It's going to make me feel there's no point in trying. In which case, from that feeling and from that thinking that's created that feeling, what are the chances of me going to try and do anything about it? Chances are I'm not. And if I do, it's going to be a half-hearted try, which is just going to reaffirm that original thinking that nothing works for me and life is unfair. Our thinking is where everything starts from. Our beliefs that just happen on autopilot dictate everything in our world. It really is a maths equation. Psychology comes down to simple maths. This thinking will always equal this feeling. And this feeling, chances are, is going to equal a certain behavior that we could probably predict. If we look at the thinking that creates the feeling, we could probably predict the outcome that we're going to get, which is probably going to reaffirm that original disempowering thinking. Let me give some practical examples to really bring this out. Let's believe you have a friend called Jenny, and you believe Jenny is a nice person, and you meet Jenny in the street, and she says to you, "Hey, do you want to go for a coffee? Do you want to have a catch up?" What is going to be your automatic response based upon the belief and the thinking that she's a nice person? Chances are you're going to find the time. So your thinking is going to create a feeling of connection. She's a nice person. It's going to create a feeling of connection. This is going to be fun. This is going to be exciting, which is going to create the output of behavior of you are going to go and spend time with them, which is going to reaffirm, hopefully, the belief, assuming that you don't get into a major brawl over coffee, that she's a nice person. Now, if you were to meet Tom, let's say, and you don't think Tom is a nice guy, and you want to avoid him like the plague, you've got this thinking he's not a nice guy, not good to spend time with him, and you meet Tom in the street, and he says, hey, do you want to go out for a coffee? Same question that Jenny asked, your automatic response is going to be, no, sorry, I haven't got the time, I'm busy right now. Or you're just going to avoid them and walk away, right? So that thinking of he's not a nice guy or she's not a nice girl is going to create a feeling of, I don't feel comfortable, right? This doesn't feel right. This feels like something I shouldn't do, which is then going to create the output of, I don't want to spend time with you, which is then going to reaffirm that I shouldn't spend time with this person. So our thinking automatically creates our feeling, and our feeling creates a predicted behavior. Let me give you another example. If you believe that something is dangerous, that's going to make you feel scared. It's going to make you feel worried. It's going to create a sense of fear, even possibly some anxiety. Now, when you're feeling that anxiety and you're feeling that fear, and you've got in the background, which is coming from a thinking of this is dangerous, what are the chances of you going to do that thing? We can pretty much predict that you're not going to do it. And then if you're not going to do it, that's just going to reaffirm the thought and the thinking and the belief that this is not good for me, this is dangerous, this is not a good thing to do. Which means, again, you are going to feel that anxiety when you are confronted with that thing, which again is going to make you avoid, which is going to then reaffirm. So it's a simple maths equation. When it comes to psychology, we have to stop making our mind so complicated, because it really isn't. It really is a simple maths formulation. Just like maths is simple, 1 + 1 always equals 2, our thinking creates our feelings, which creates probably a prediction that we can make on the output that we're going to do in our behavior, which is probably going to reaffirm. And if we're in that I can't circle, then we really need to break that cycle. And if we're in the I can circle, that's great, because it will just reaffirm that I can, and we're going to feel great and do great things.